Welcome back to the 25 days of puppy Christmas card ideas, where we're giving you 25 ideas, one for your Christmas card, 24 for your social media advent calendar, of ideas on how you can pose with your puppy this holiday season. Now, this one is especially close to my heart because it's story time with your dog, and it is super easy to do. The 25 days of puppy Christmas card series can be done with one or many dogs, created with a traditional camera or your phone, done in your house or outside, and range from elegant and refined to fun and quirky, so there's a fit for everyone. And don't forget, these photo shoot ideas also make for great social media advent calendars, even if they aren't all going to be used on your Christmas cards. If you're using a traditional camera, I recommend you set up a remote shutter release through a clicker or an app on your phone so you can take photos from where you're posed. If you're using your phone, I recommend you set it to cinematic video and take screenshots of the best frames after, since pups tend to move around a lot and you don't want to stress over missing the shot. Each of these episodes is designed for a specific card template that will link in the caption, but you can use this on whatever template works best for you. So to do this, all you have to do is jump onto your couch with your dog. If your dog's not allowed on your furniture, sit in front of your couch, and you're going to pose with your puppy reading a book. Grab a blanket, put it over your legs. You can wrap it around your dog too if you want. In fact, you can wrap it around your shoulders if you don't want to look cute, if you don't want to put on a Christmassy sweater or whatever. Wrap it around yourself. You do not have to go fancy with this. Grab a blanket that is going to be holiday colored. So think red or green or a plaid if it has snowflakes on it. Or if you don't have any of those, just a neutral color is going to work for you. So go for the most neutral you have, and then just wrap yourself up in your blanket and hold your book. Now, I recommend a board book, meaning it is hard pages. It's not paper. So if your wiggly dog gets, a little bit moving around and active, it's not going to rip the pages. If you do not have one yourself, you can borrow one from your sister's kids. You can borrow one from your neighbor. You can go to the library and borrow one. Or if you really don't have access to any of those things, go to a dollar store and get a cheap book. Doesn't matter what it is. Or grab a book off of your shelves if you're a bookish person. And all you're going to do, instead of holding the book up to show the cover, is tip it down to just show the pages. Without showing the cover, nobody knows what you're reading. It's a hack I use in my artwork all the time. Now, I recommend for this that you are going more for a picture book rather than a novel. Even though I'm a multi-time best-selling novelist, go for the picture book. It's more innocent and childlike with your puppy, and that's how it works with dogs. And so you're going to grab some great Christmassy book, and you're going to hold it so that people can kind of see that it's a Christmas book, or you're going to tip it down so that people can't tell. And then you are just going to wrap yourself in your blanket, and you're going to be able to take your pictures. Now, you can do this on your couch, aim it at the wall. You can do it in the corner. You can do it in front of your couch. You can do it on your bed. You can do it just somewhere that looks like you're at home and you're hanging out with your dog. If you've got a bean bag or a cool chair you can sit on, all those things are totally fine. The goal is to get your dog, and your dog can either sit next to you or can kind of lay in your lap, and you're holding up to show the pictures like you're reading. Now, you're not actually going to read the book, because if you're reading, chances are your photos are going to have you pose at a weird little angle. As you're talking, you're going to have odd faces. So we don't want that. So you're going to pretend to read. So you can smile over and look at your dog while you're taking your pictures, or you can kind of make a face, but a posed face. So you can actually smile while you are fake talking. So to do that, all you have to do is kind of have an open mouth smile. And it's like you're saying a word, but it still keeps your face pretty enough. It's not a weird face as you are posing. So you can pose as if you are reading that book, or you can just sweetly look at your dog while you're reading the novel, or showing the pictures to your baby. And that's going to make for just the cutest photo ever. And then we just have to do our retouching. Drop your photo into Photoshop or whichever photo editing platform you want to be using, and we're going to do our local retouching first, meaning if you have shadows under your eyes, you're going to use your clone tool like we've talked about in past videos, or your spot heal to remove any stray dog hairs that happen to be on your clothing. If you have a reflection in the window, if you happen to be taking photos near the window, you're going to go ahead and you're going to retouch that with your spot heal tool, and you are then going to be able to remove anything on the wall. So if you don't like the light switch, you can actually remove that so that that's not there. We are then going to deal with our color adjustments. So we're going to go into our brightness and contrast panel, and we are going to pull up the contrast, maybe pull up the brightness a little bit. You may need to tinker with it if you have a Christmas tree in the background and you want to do the lights. If you do have a Christmas tree in the background and you want to illuminate a certain part of it, you can actually just lasso part of that tree. We're going to use my plant as an example. And then you can come into a new brightness and contrast panel, pull the tree down, pull the brightness up, or maybe you need to kind of adjust it for those lights a little bit differently. You can do that there, and then use your paintbrush tool to paint it on and off the necessary places so that that is ready to go for you. And if you want to make a gold glowing tree, a little bit more glowy, you're actually going to go in and you're going to grab your curves panel. You're going to go from RGB down to blue, and then you're going to sway it yellow instead of the blue side. And you will localize that just to the tree. So you can paint it on, paint it off, lasso it, you know the drill. So with that, you're going to do your color adjustments, and then you can be moving in if you need to sharpen anything. So you might want to use your sharpening tool just a little bit to kind of sharpen the title of the book if that's something that you are showing inside of your photo. Sharpen that just a little bit. Usually it'll focus more on your face and your dog, so you may need to sharpen the words just a bit. Do not over sharpen it, or it's going to be a problem and it will kind of pixelate it and stand out in a way that you do not want inside of your image. Now, you may actually want to enhance your blanket a little bit. Sometimes blankets don't photograph the same way that your skin tone will. So you're just going to lasso a section of it, go into your brightness and contrast panel, and you're just going to pull that contrast up a little bit, maybe pull the brightness down if that's something you want to ground a little bit more or to be a little bit brighter. You can do that as well. And then you're just going to use your paintbrush on 100% opacity white, and you're going to then paint that on. So if that's something you want to make darker or lighter, you can do that. I'm actually going to brighten mine just a little bit and pull that contrast down just a touch so that it stands out a little bit more. If you need to then retouch anything on your face, brighten your dog's eyes, sharpen their little nose, you can do that here as well. But this is a pretty easy photo for you to be taking, and you don't have to do a lot of work to make it look good inside of that. If you do have things that you don't like if you don't love this lampshade, then you would just be able to crop that in a little bit, because for the most part, these cards are going to be 5x7 cards, and it's going to be too long anyway. So it will get clipped off in places depending on what you are going to need for this. I'm going to go ahead and undo that little crop right there. And of course, if you need to extend the blanket, maybe you don't like that your feet are showing. I just real quick took this and I didn't worry too much about where the edge was going to be. And so you can just use your quick selection tool right here, and you can grab sections of that blanket, and then you can right click and click copy. And then if you want, you have the, oops, because I did it on the wrong layer. And then if you want, you can drag that over and blend it in to what you're doing. So you can kind of see it already blends in pretty naturally here. It does have a little bit of the same vibe going on with this. So you can either make it a little bit bigger if that's something that you want to do, and then blend it in, or you can add a second layer. Because I have two of the same things here, I may actually grab my clone tool and remove that darkened place right there, or not my clone tool, my spot heal tool, and just fix that so that I only have that one section that is tucked up. And now you can't tell that I added some to this blanket. You can still see part of my foot, but because it kind of blends in, I'm not overly worried about it. But if you are worried about it, you can actually duplicate that layer that you just pulled over, and you can bump that over just a little bit so that it blends in right about there. You can add a layer mask to it because you can see how it kind of went under my feet as well. And on a black paintbrush, 100% opacity, just remove anything that is too big for it. And now all of a sudden that blanket has gone the entire length of my feet, and I can choose to keep it like this, or I can choose to extend it like that. I'm going to leave it alone because it's actually going to crop most of this off inside of my 5x7 card as we are creating that. Add your image to the frame. This is 5x7 if you're using the one that I have created, which I will link down below for you if you want it. And then you're going to add your text overlay. Relate it something to the book or to reading or to classic literature when it comes to Christmas time. Or you can just leave a nice Merry Christmas message in that blank space over your shoulder, and that's going to allow you to create a really cute picture that incorporates what you're doing with the storytelling. You can even create your own little story there if you want, if it's nice and tiny. And then if you have elements that will match the card frame that you are putting around it or the template you're putting it on, that's going to be even better. Now we are going for a cozy single image graphic for this one. So we are going to use a frame that kind of pulls in some of those classic childhood lovely Christmas elements, and we are then going to be able to just take our picture of us reading to our dogs, and we're going to do our basic retouching. We're going to be able to drop that right into the card and have that overlay of that frame. You're going to be looking for things again that bring back childhood nostalgia for your frame or for the card that you are creating. So look for things like candy canes and gingerbread houses and like vintagey type things, anything that brings up those feelings that you had when you were a child and you would get up and go sit by the Christmas tree and read a book. And you can, even if you're posing and you're doing these things, you can read a book by the Christmas tree. That's fine too. Anytime you have access to like Christmassy elements in these images, by all means, go ahead and use them. But this is going to then lead into a conversation where you can lean into some of those nostalgic things you felt like you loved when you were a child. So 'twas the night before Christmas. You could have something like that for your card. Or you can talk about snuggling up by the fireplace or on the couch or by the Christmas tree and reading books. You can leave a lovely little personalized note or whatever it is that you want. Something that brings back that childhood wonder where you just got to read books about Santa Claus and just be excited for your presents and all of those things. That's what you're sharing with your dog inside of this card. So it's really nice to be able to kind of send that parental feel to your friends and family with you and your dog. And of course, we've got lots of options for you in the 25 Days of Puppy Christmas Cards series here, where you're going to be able to use one for your Christmas card and 24 on your social media advent calendar leading up to the big reveal of your Christmas cards for this year. So if this is your one, let us know down below and follow along as we continue to help you break down ideas that you can be using on social media and in your Christmas cards with your puppies. This one was super easy, so easy for you to do, and so are some of the ones upcoming, and some of them are going to take a little bit more work. So we got some great things coming for you, and we'll see you in the upcoming episodes.